let's just go into your reading. So the reason why I pull these cards out is the Empress fell in your 7th house, which deals with relationship. So this is going to set the tone for the reading, for this love reading. The Page of Swords is in your 5th house, which deals with romantic prospects as well. So I pulled out these cards mainly because it's going to help me pinpoint the energy of the people involved, okay? And it's also a kind of like, it's a good segue to transition between both readings so that they have a common theme. So let's talk about the past. We have the King of Cups as well as the Justice card. Justice is a card about karma when it comes to relationships overall. And this is a love relationships where I feel like it might have been very, very balanced. You might have been involved here with a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, a Scorpio. And this person is showing up in your past. So they could already be in the picture as you enter the month of January. So for those of you who are still dealing with this person, I do feel that this is a person that might have been divorced. Whatever was going on in their lives, they might have children or they might have had divorce, and they might have dealt with some legal issues, either divorce or child custody issues. Okay. This is somebody that you had a very, very emotional bond with. And this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. This is somebody who's very in control of their emotions. They know how to love. They know how to sacrifice on a very, very, very deep level. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might have left this person behind. You're no longer dealing with them, mainly because it was a very emotional, heavy experience. And I feel like, you know, with every relationship, at the end of it, there's always like, you know, there's always a little bit of resentment. So no matter how things have ended, I feel like you both were just not compatible people. Okay. The Justice card, I want to say that the relationship, it seems to me like two people who were very, very much in love. It was a deep-rooted type of a relationship where you try to do right by the other person. And I feel like, honestly, Aquarius, I feel like you tried more than the other person. Because, you know, this is she's holding a sword, and I always think of this as like an air sign type of person, very logical, very rational, very fair-minded, and, you know, they don't keep scores. But I feel like the person that you were dealing with, they kept scores. They wanted to balance things out. They wanted to like know how much they're putting in versus how much you're putting in. So you're dealing with somebody that might be a little bit more petty, that might have, you know, their own motives. And I feel like they're kind of, I almost want to say like, I feel like they're a very good, loving, responsible person. But I just feel like, you know, they're just not the best match for you. And I feel a lot of you have left this person behind. And which brings us to the present situation. We have the Six of Swords. This is sailing away from troubled water, learning from our past mistakes and moving forward with a more level headed type of, I guess, type of insight, or moving into a place of smoother water. Okay, so either way, I usually think of this as like a refugee. They've been through a lot of emotional turmoil, and there was a lot of like pain, disappointment, sadness, regrets. But either way, they're sailing on mainly because the past cannot be returned to for whatever reason. Okay, it's linked up here with the Four of Coins. So I feel like a lot of you have successfully moved on from this person. And I feel like you really, really love this person. And I feel that you gave your all. And it didn't work out for whatever reason. And I do sense that you're like very emotionally guarded coming into this month because of this past relationship. I feel like it was something very real, and you thought that, you know, it was like a soulmate connection, and this person really taught you a lot of things about yourself. So I feel like, you know, no matter who this person is, you can't deny the fact that you've learned a lot from them. You can't deny the fact that they are capable of great sacrifices. At their best, I feel like they're very, they're very patient with you. You might have, you know, tantrums. You might be very like, I feel like OCD. You want a specific way, and you know, it's like my way or the highway. And I feel like this person was very accommodating. They soothe you when you were going through your tantrums, and they really understand you on an innate level, and they see the best in you. And for whatever reason that relationship ended, I feel like you learned a lot from them. You've learned a lot from them, and you've like learned, you've picked up all of their great qualities, which is knowing how to sacrifice, knowing how to love unconditionally, knowing how to express yourself, your emotional needs. And that's not something that Aquarius are born with. So I feel like this person really opened up your heart and to allow you to be a lot more sympathetic. And because that relationship has ended, I feel like you come into this month, or you come into your current love relationships very guarded, waiting for the other shoe to drop, being a little bit suspicious. And you're also a little bit like, I almost want to say you're not ready to let your guard down. Okay. What you're, the crowning energy here is the thing that you're thinking about. And we have here the Six of Cups, which is once again thinking about a person from the past. And the Six of Cups indicates some type of a emotionally, like, I want to say like a very emotional, heavy experience. It indicates some type of karma that needed to be learned through relationships. So having a relationship partner that taught you a lot of things about yourself and about others, and about how to love and who to love and how to love the correct way. So I feel like it was a very challenging relationship because there were many, many karmic lessons that had to be learned as it pertains to love. Okay. And then others of you, we have here the Knight of Wands, which is like a fire sign. This is a, Sagittarius, and Aries, or a Leo. So I feel that a lot of you might be dwelling on this past person. And this past person could also be somebody who exhibits the quality of this fire sign. So a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo, sun, moon, or rising. And this is somebody that is, you know, going out blazing through life, being irresponsible, not taking care of their obligations. And I feel like for some of you, there is some type of resentment here where you're no longer dealing with this person and you're seeing them. You're still thinking about them. You do miss them a little bit. But I feel like a lot of you have moved on because you knew it wasn't going to work. And I feel like, you know, in the extreme case, a lot of you have moved on. And you're now dealing with this other person or thinking about this other person that is bringing a lot of fun, excitement, lighthearted energy into your life. And it's not making everything a heavy emotional experience. So a lot of you might be dealing with this person right now or thinking about this person right now, which is, you know, a fire sign. The foundation of this reading here is, you know, things that you know to be true, already in the picture, etc. So the first card we have here is the Queen of Wands, which is another fire sign. So Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. This is somebody who's very nurturing, very caring. And I feel like they shower a lot of compliments on you. And I feel like they're very, very verbally expressive, and they're very affectionate. And I feel like the change of scenery between these two people is that this one keeps all of their emotions in. You don't know how they feel. And I feel like they're doers, they're not talkers. And I feel like with this person, they're a little bit more verbal. So the exchange between the two of you is a little bit easier. And it's also, you know, fire and air. They're a lot more compatible with you. So I feel that, you know, you are in a position where you are being showered on, doted on, and really taken care of by another person this month. And I feel like if you're dating somebody where there is an age gap, so for example, I feel like you might be the younger one and then the other person is older. And no matter what sign they are, if you're a younger Aquarius dating an older person, and I would say, you know, more than 5 years older, they treat you in a way where, you know, they almost treat you like with kitty gloves. They really, I feel like they patronize you, not in a disrespectful way, but I feel like they really like your quirks. I feel a lot of you might be OCD, like you're very particular about what you want and how things are placed. And they're very careful about accommodating you, which is very sweet. It's also linked up here with the Queen of Swords. And this is what brought me to say, you know, OCD, somebody with quirks, because I feel like somebody twitching. I feel like somebody who like gets annoyed very easily. And who gets annoyed at like very odd things. You know, we all have our quirks, but I feel like the smallest thing can trigger some of you off this month. And so this person is like very indulgent. They know how to calm you down. And I feel like you're in a very, very good position to to like reciprocate for this person. They're very generous, very loving. So you're in a good position. A lot of you might also be dealing with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising as well. So you have all kinds of people coming through, fire and air mainly. So, and we have the 8 of Coins as well. So this is, I feel like if you are single, this is a air sign, fire sign that you might be meeting in your work environment. And I do sense it's going to be a very positive experience for you. Just be careful about mixing business with pleasure. That's something I mentioned earlier. Okay. So just be very careful about that. Don't cross that line, because I feel heavy work energy where people are attracted to their coworkers or flirting with coworkers. And there might be, you know, one coworker, and then like 2 other coworkers having their eyes on the same person. So it's going to create some awkwardness and just weird energy in the office, and you don't want that to happen. So be careful about mixing business with pleasure, and just be careful about gossip and office, you know, romances. Okay, just be careful. What's coming through for you guys here is the Lovers, and I feel like this is a really good spread overall for Aquarius. The Lovers, basically a lot of physical attraction, a lot of chemistry, and 2 people traveling together. I feel like you might be discussing travel. You might be traveling to see somebody that you are romantically involved with. And I feel like I usually think of this as, you know, just a very, very great chemistry, very great rapport. It's a card that indicates like complementarity, 2 people that are very different, but they're working harmoniously together. With the Ace of Wands too, which indicates great passion. Be careful about pregnancy, because the Ace of Wands here, it usually indicates a lot of, you know, sexual energy. It's very, very high sexual energy. So be careful about pregnancy, okay? For those of you who are single, you're going to meet somebody who's really, really great, okay? And I feel like that earth sign, the fire sign is somebody who is already in your life, very stable and very nurturing, very accommodating, okay? And I feel like a lot of you have left a water sign behind. You're still very much guarded, and you're trying to move on with your life. You're thinking about a fire sign here. You're thinking about someone who's very fun, very adventurous, but you have other options coming through. So I feel like we're dealing with a lot of different people, but what's coming through for you looks very great. There's opportunities for fun and excitement. And with this card, once again, the Page of Swords showing up in your 5th house of fun, romance, recreation, and, you know, even love and creativity. I feel like, so, you know, this is a person looking back at their past, right? They've got their sword out, blocking out the future, and they're looking back at their past. And I feel like this energy, whoever this person was in your past, this water sign from your past, it was a very, very heavy emotional experience. You're not over it. I feel like this person really left their mark on you. Like there was a lot of love, but I feel like it was a very, very, it was a heavy emotional experience is the best way that I can describe it. Because I feel like at their worst, they were manipulative. At their best, they were like very loving towards you, very understanding, very loving towards you. And I feel like the love was real, but it just left a scar on you, and you're very protected, okay? You're still not over it. You're still looking back at the past, and you're not able to move on and enjoy the new people that are in your life. So appreciate your blessings, Aquarius, and move on. You need to close some doors. I feel like a lot of you have physically moved on, but I feel like you're still carrying the scars with you and the pain with you. And it's not good for you on an energetic, spiritual level. You might have physically moved on, but if you're constantly, you know, checking their social media, if you're constantly reading their past text messages or emails from the past, it's not helping those wounds to heal, okay?